Maybe you can show us a little bit the key moments.
Some latest, I think, latest fashion. So here, yeah, like basically a lot of lines are good for black, but okay, bishop d7, h6 is. I think the main move here is b3, then b6, and this is like a very, very long theory, very well known. So this was sort of like a novelty. g4 is, I think, is very rare move, and yeah, 97, 92 was idea of my team.
Yeah, and here we did started to spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I think knight h2 is also a novelty, and well, it's very interesting position. Like knight h2 doesn't look good, but okay, my plan is simple: like push f4, f5, and maybe create some forcing play. So g5. I mean, anyway, I have to go f4, and here, like strategically, black is doing fine, but somehow, like white already has some squares for knights, and I couldn't really remember what was like the move here. Maybe knight d5, knight e4. So I pretty much like tried to rely on the common sense. And I'm not sure like the plan he decided to go for is an optimal one, but I mean it still was very sensible for me. So here, of course, I would prefer to start like rook a d1, but not to let him knight d5 at all at any point. But maybe he can take on a2, like it becomes very unclear, like c4. So maybe bishop survives. So I just decided to play like solid, improve my king position, and this is like, I mean, it's probably related as roughly equal, but it's sort of unpleasant. Yeah, like white is, you know, lifting up a little bit. Yeah, king, then pawns, then okay, knight is going like okay, one knight, another knight. Yes, so a5, a3 is probably the setup I want to achieve. a4, I'm not so sure. Maybe b5, b4, but b5, you know, has some other drawbacks. Like c5 becomes weak. So c3, and here I think it's like sort of like a status quo. This position. Just black can stand still, yeah, like don't come up with any plans. And bishop e7, I wasn't so sure because I had a h4 move, but h4 is normally not so great because you are weakening g4, which black can use in many lines. So I decided, okay, to go knight h4 for a moment and maybe knight f5. h5 is very serious move, I think. So of course, like it works tactically, like knight h5, rook h5, and rook g8, he wins a piece. But after g5, it's like it's very special position. So I would say if bishop would be on f8 and then okay, he plays knight e7 straight away and then knight g6, I think he's doing more or less fine. But here, strangely enough, I don't think he's in time. And also like play here bishop f8 is, well, this move existed, but I'm not sure it was like so good anymore. And also I can, you know, relocate my knight from h4 to f4 at some point, yeah, like press on e6. So, I mean, somehow like after h5, g5, my play becomes like very, very simple. So rook a5, here I was quite curious what to do, so I decided to go like for setup with bishop on c1, because okay, open a file for the rook as well. I'm not sure it's like an optimal move, but let's say rook e1, bishop c1. Here he could play c4, but c4 sort of like, I mean, of course he brings the rook into play, so rook is now pressing onto e5, but at the same time he basically cancels his own play like forever on the queen side. And well, he was sort of in slight time trouble already, so like I would say 20 minutes for remaining moves, which is not so good in such a position. So rook b3 here, I think I went for some hasty decision, but I'm not so sure. So let's say I thought it's pretty principled. So g6, I could try to fight for some sort of like tempo here or there, but also he wants to play b5, b4. Yeah, I think, and once he plays b5, b4, I mean, even if I manage to play knight e2, knight e4, knight d2, okay, knight b3, technically he takes a b3 and gets a good possessed pawn, so I also have to, you know, to hurry up. So rook b3 is, of course, like a very like responsible move, but yeah,
because he's picking his rook there, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, he has like a very, very concrete plan. So here he could play h4, I think was very interesting. h4, like provoke my knight to h4 and then play b5, b4. But here also I thought like, you know, rook f3 was the move, of course, and some other options, but actually I just think I miscalculated. So I went for this forcing line. I mean, of course, here was rook d3 check also, but rook d3, I think I had something like rook e3, rook e3, bishop e3, knight e7, bishop c1. And still very unpleasant, so it was like one of some options. Maybe rook f2 also, but I thought like, all right, here I'm clearly pressing, so not a reason to worry too much. And here, this all like I calculated, and after e6 I was like sort of thinking, all right, if this is not winning, then alles. I mean, it's just as draw, not enough. So my idea was after before I have bishop e7 and take on e7 with bishop, so my bishop comes in time to protect e3 pawn and attacks c5. Knight d5 was the move, of course, I missed. So fortunately, I still have some chances here after bishop d7, rook d1. And here maybe king c6 was inaccurate. I felt like actually bishop c6 was the move. So if king g4, you can even repeat the move once. And if here, then king c6 already is some improved version.
Yeah, because you don't have
seems,
this,
this king e4 doesn't work anymore. So I guess after bishop, here. So that's why I think I should play king g3 and knight b6. And this is like very interesting position. So I had, I have a lot of like tactical ideas. Maybe knight d4, knight d5, knight f6, knight d7, knight g7, knight d6, knight f4, knight d3. So tons of ideas. I'm not sure if anything works, but I felt like it was most logical, this, and knight g6. So I'm taking on c5, let's say. So let's say he gives me a check, whatever, like king e4, he can try to repeat moves also. That's a very interesting position because it looks like, okay, knight c5 is serious, but bishop on c6 is more or less untouchable when the knight is on c5. And I'm not going for a mate, and I wasn't sure if this could be winning, but well, I mean, okay, at least I had to complicate things, like rook d1. So king c6, king e4. Here he could play like rook b2, rook d5, rook e2, but I don't think it worked because of many reasons. I mean, it's somewhat close to a draw everywhere, but I didn't see a draw by force. And here bishop e8, I think a terrible blunder, because, I mean, at least he should have taken on e7, take on e7. And here either bishop g4 first or this, and after knight f4, I wasn't sure like what is this position about, but somehow my next move is rook g1 and rook g6, so for example, bishop g4, rook g1. And I don't think he's quite in time, and I keep a lot of pieces, and maybe this is just winning because, okay, it's like I have two minor pieces and the rook.
Yeah, so he'll not
and can
have
go for
time
attack.
to exchange the pawns.
Yeah, probably he keeps like 2 pawns for a piece, but I'm not sure it's quite enough to make a draw, but it was like maybe there's a good chance after king c6. So after king e4, bishop e8, I got like excited because, okay, I calculated like similar lines. And here I think, well, I wonder if bishop e3 is also winning, but I thought like bishop c1 is very, very clean. So yeah, he's like tiny study, but it's easy to have a study when the rook is on b3. Yeah, so so here, I mean, it would be a shame if this was a mate, like let's say ab rook a8, let's say bc queen e8, but I couldn't see the mate after, I think after king b6. So let's say queen e6 and c6, and I have no check suddenly. And if queen b8, king c6, rook a6, and rook b6, and his next move is also a check to me. So I decided like to keep it simple, and yeah, I guess like this is not such a tough thing to play because my king is very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, and instead he played bishop d7, but okay, here king f7. So rook d7 doesn't work anymore, but okay, I don't need it because king f7 also works.
And well, you won the previous 2 candidates. We all know that, of course. Now you're already a leader, on the path, perhaps to win the 3rd one. I know you will say that it's too early to judge. But still, what is it about you and the candidates? What is your secret in these tournaments?
There is no secret. I'm just trying to play. I mean, I've been asked this question before, and I don't think I can invent some new revolutionary sort of answer. I mean, really, it's like I do what I normally do. So maybe I prepare a little bit more, and okay, I take it like slightly more serious than regular round robin. But okay, that's probably because it's like one of a kind tournament.
Of course.